Here we are. The Flex Network is back in action. I'm Flex Mike. You can find me on Twitter at FlexMike11. And on the other side of the window here is my boy Cam at Cowboy Cam11 on Twitter. What's up, Cam?
What's going on, baby? Nothing much. Just want to say quick shout out, quick prayer to my family at the moment. We lost my grandma yesterday, and so I figured the best place to be right now is here with you guys talking football because football is universal, makes everybody feel good. So thank y'all for having me, man.
Yeah, man. Obviously, that's horrible to hear, but our prayers and thoughts and stuff are definitely with you guys. So it's interesting, dude. I'm working off a little less sleep than I normally do.
How's the whole newborn in the family going?
Man, it's going good. It's he's a little rock star doing his thing. So living his best life. Gets his diaper changed for him and people taking care of him and all that good stuff. So he's doing all right, man. He's a pretty chill kid. I don't have any complaints about him. And
all right.
He's living his best life. Obviously, when people wait on you hand and foot, you're doing pretty good. So what do you say we get into some hit me with some NFL news this week? Any news that you saw that was just absolutely anything you wanted to talk about? I know this Colin Kaepernick circle continues to run, and we'll see if he actually gets signed by a team or if the NFL was just trying to do it for a PR stunt. But,
we'll be playing the waiting game. There's nothing really news-wise going on. It was a quiet week, not too many, no major injuries from anyone. And so week 12 looks to be off to an exciting start. We'll have a lot of teams at 100%.
Yeah, one thing I saw just probably about an hour ago is that Antonio Brown is countersuing for defamation for the woman that is accusing him of sexual assault. He's basically countersuing her and saying that she interfered with his contract situation. Yep. I don't know if she interfered with it, but him being an idiot definitely interfered with it. But Kevin here, that's right, baby. Go Hawks always. Go bye week also. Go bye week. We were on the bye this last week. We got a little bit healthy, and so that was good.
Beat the Eagles, please. I just beat them, all right? That's all I ask. That's all I need.
That's the plan.
But Antonio Brown did I don't want to say basically New England's going to have to pay him his contract, pay him the money that he's due. And I don't know if you've seen the little apology he did for him, basically saying, hey, you can bring me back if you want to, please.
Okay, so here's Kevin. He says, you guys killed it last week on my fantasy question, so I got one more for you in a bit. Watching y'all during a business meeting at a high-end steakhouse, LOL, #true story. You know what? Me and Cam, we play fantasy football pretty competitively, but we're not necessarily the go-to guys on the Flex Network for your fantasy football stuff. But what I will say is that what did he have last week? He said Derrick Henry or Kareem Hunt. He wanted to know what to do with those guys. I believe that's what he said.
I think so.
I know that I have Kareem Hunt. I drafted him in a league just to kind of watch him. I knew he wasn't going to be available until week 10, and so we are just kind of waiting to see what he was doing. But I'll tell you what, Chubb's still doing his thing, but Kareem Hunt's getting in there. I believe he had about, in a PPR league that I'm in, I believe he had about 10 to 12 points, something like that last week. And that's pretty solid for not being the number one guy,
Oh yeah. That's some good production right there. Basically, if you're in a PPR league and you need somebody or you got a starting running back that's out, oh man, 10 points out of any back is great.
Right. And so he was there doing his thing. And so of course that's good to see. And but yeah, like we said earlier, Antonio Brown's getting kind of wild, doing his thing, whatever. But he, man, it's we talked about it before. The concussion that he had when Vontez Burfict pretty much knocked him out a few years back just tells you everything you need to know with what's going on with him. I mean, I think he's got some, maybe, I don't want to say brain damage or anything, but he's got some other things going on that aren't really working for him right now, and so that's a little bit frustrating. But he's got much more issues other than just trying to get on a team, and so we it is what it is at this point. I don't envision him playing anymore. I don't know if anyone would even take a flyer on him next year or anything like that. But as we continue to move on, I want to remind the viewers and the listeners of a giveaway that we have going. We have a giveaway. Our giveaway, specifically NFL related giveaway that we have, is you have an opportunity to win a Ezekiel Elliott's autographed mini Dallas Cowboys football helmet, autographed by Ezekiel Elliott. All you have to do is you have to invite three people to follow our page, really like our page. We want to see our likes go up. Following is great, but we want to see our likes go up also. And you invite those three people to the page and they like the page, you're entered to win. It's as simple as that. And those friends can also enter by inviting people to like the page. But you don't just win the Ezekiel Elliott autographed mini helmet. You'll also win an autographed Seahawks mini helmet, autographed by Russell Wilson, the man, the MVP frontrunner himself. Yeah, Cam might think that he's not the front runner, but the only reason people think that he's not the front runner was because he was on a bye and Lamar Jackson took center stage. That's literally the only reason.
Bye weeks do that for you.
Yeah, so he wasn't in the conversation, and so that whole situation is interesting. But we'll talk about it a little bit later. But invite three people to like the page. Those three people like the page. You have been entered into that. I guess we could call it a sweepstakes.
Yeah, sweepstakes.
To win those two autographed mini helmets and a personal card from Flex Matt's collection. Is that card autographed? Probably. Do I know what that card is? Absolutely not. I'm not even sure that Flex Matt himself knows what that card is, but understand that Matt is a guy that collects NFL memorabilia and stuff like that. So whatever card he draws, you will get a good card. The card is going to be worth it. And it's a free contest. It's not like we're asking you to pay us $9.99 10 times or something. We're not asking for any money. We're not asking for anything. We're just saying share the page, share, retweet a tweet, all those good things. Invite the people that you know who enjoy NFL content, who enjoy WWE content, who enjoy fantasy football content to like our page, follow our page, and you're entered. Simple as that. So get it going, and we're gonna decide the winner during Super Bowl Sunday. So
man, that's gonna be an incredible weekend.
Yeah, it's gonna be wild. It's gonna be nuts. But let's move on to some more important information.
Oh yeah.
Because once again, the football record book has returned.
Oh gosh.
The football record book has returned. Okay. And last week we had the snowman on, right?
Yeah.
And where I live in reality, and I like to take reality and I like to mix it in with a little bit of my homerism and mix it in with a little bit of my football knowledge, and then that's how I pick my games, right?
Yeah, Snowman got me out of character last week. It's his fault.
Yeah, he did get you out of character a little bit, but he just went wild last week, as he does every week because that's who he is. He's just a wild person. But I'll tell you what happened is he picks with his heart and he picks with hopes of upsets and hopes
Yep.
of rivals losing. And so his score is okay, but when
Okay.
you
Oh
hear
no.
when you hear a couple of his picks, you'll understand. Would you like to hear the final
Yes, yes.
results?
Let's get to it. I want to hear this.
Okay, out of a possible 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 games, the snowman got 10 games correct.
What?
And out of a possible 14 games, Mr. at Cowboy Cam 11 himself got 10 games correct.
What? Oh my.
And
Okay, so how many did you get?
and out of a possible 14 games, the football expert on this channel right here, the most knowledgeable team by team
Oh, okay.
person on
Okay.
this network, one at Flex Mike 11, okay, got 12 out of 14 correct. Go ahead. Go ahead. We know. Okay. Listen, Cam, you just can't catch a break. Every week, I'm just handing it to you. Sometimes it might be by just one game. Sometimes it might be two. Sometimes it might be more. But let me tell you something. Where do you think you messed up? If you
the,
could pick any game from last week, what do you think you messed up? And then I remember calling you out on it because I couldn't believe you're going to be that stupid.
the
But
Saints and Buccaneers game.
100% correct.
The Saints and Buccaneers.
Yeah, there's
I had a little bit more faith in the Buccaneers. You know, I thought they were going to show up. Next thing I knew,
oh,
the Saints. Well, I wasn't expecting the Saints to get back to their running game, and sure enough, they did. And didn't ask Drew Brees to do too much. And Jameis Winston. I mean, is Jameis Winston, plain and simple. So there's that one. And what was another one? I can't remember the other three, but for sure that one was one that I kept thinking about all weekend.
for sure. Okay, so here we go. We are, so like I said, I had 12 correct, and you and Snowman had 10 correct. So my risk pick of the week did not pay off. I picked Jacksonville, who got throttled by the Colts.
Oh yeah,
And so I just thought maybe Foles would have something, but nope. That obviously didn't work out.
we'll blame it on the rest a little bit.
Let's see. I start off a little rough in the beginning, but then I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 straight right. So I was kind of worried there in the beginning, starting out with Pittsburgh. But what do you say we recap some of these games from last week?
Let's do
And
it. Yes.
let's start with your Dallas Cowboys first of all.
Woo!
I'll let you go ahead and take that one as
All right. Yes, it's amazing to be a Cowboys fan, but I told you guys to worry about Jeff Driscoll, did I not?
I believe you did.
Yes, I was like, Jeff Driscoll will find a way to be a Cowboy killer, and sure enough, our defense showed its ugly side, and the Cowboys' philosophy is bend, don't break. And basically, every time Jeff Driscoll had the ball, we would bend a little bit. And our seventh round draft pick from 2 years ago played against us and had more rushing yards than Ezekiel Elliott. That's not. Bo Scarborough came out of nowhere. I had no clue he was going to start this week, and he put on a little bit of a show. He ran the ball tough. Our defensive front, we stunt so much that we get caught in a lot of inside runs because we're stunting, and basically once you're out of position, it's off to the races. And the Detroit Lions have a really nice receiving core. Kenny Galladay, Marvin Jones, those guys can really ball. They can fly down the field. They can make plays. Basically, all Jeff Driscoll had to do was just remotely get the ball in their area against our DBs, and it was on and popping just then. But no, Jeff Driscoll played a solid game, and they just came up short. But this man right here is what I want to talk about. Dak Prescott put the team on his back once again. Ezekiel Elliott's bottled up, fumbles the ball on the first play. Oh my gosh. And it was funny because I did a video earlier that morning, and I was like, no, Ezekiel Elliott's fine. He's going to be okay. And sure enough, he fumbles the ball. And I was like, oh, come on. It's going to be one of those days. But nope, it took for Dak Prescott to pull us out of the hole once again. I think we got down 10-0, actually, or 14-0. Once again, another slow start. And Dak saves the day. We cannot afford to do that this week against the Patriots, though. We have to come out and start fast. But my MVP candidate right here, with Amari Cooper being locked down by Darius Slay, who's a really good DB. Darius Slay's a really good corner. Michael Gallup.
Yeah, I don't know if I would necessarily say that Darius Slay is like a top 5 because not consistently a top 5, but I would say top 8 at least.
At least. He can show Amari Cooper all around the field. Wherever Amari Cooper went, he was there. And so the fact that the Cowboys have Michael Gallup and Randall Cobb to step up, take some heat off of Amari Cooper, make plays. Oh my gosh. That Cowboys receiving core is looking very dangerous, if I must say, very dangerous.
Yeah, I would say that if there's Cowboys fans out there who maybe are just kind of like casually following their team just because they're in the area and they root for them generally, I would say that if you didn't know who Randall Cobb was before, you definitely do now. He had a good game, and I found myself multiple times being pretty impressed with his play. I loved him when he was at Green Bay, so like it wasn't anything new to me, and so just watching him and just kind of seeing some of the stuff he was able to do was a big deal because you're talking about a game where Zeke wasn't normal Zeke, and Cooper was kind of taken away because of who was guarding him. I mean, he still had some catches and yards and stuff like that, but it wasn't a normal Cooper day for him. And so when you get a guy like that shut down, you're looking for your 2 and your 3 to step up. But one of the more surprising things of the day was and I know Cowboys fans don't like to hear this, and it's a lot like Mavs fans don't want to hear it.
Say it. Preach, brother. Preach. Go ahead.
When it's time to go, it's time to go. Just like Dirk had to leave because it was time to go. Old man Witten, it's time to go. I mean, he's no longer the best tight end on the roster. I'll say this. He is 100% a surefire thing if you want him to run 5 or 6 yards and turn around, catch the ball, and fall down. He's good for that. Anything else outside of that, you could get almost anyone to do what he's doing right there. And
I'm so glad you went there. I'm so glad thank you. It's bad when Rob Gronkowski's sitting there and he goes, well, you know what the Cowboys need? A tight end like me. Now, Rob Gronkowski did announce that he's not coming back this year. He's not doing it. He's going to throw a Super Bowl party. That was his huge announcement. But I mean, he's right.
So his huge announcement was that he's going to throw a Super Bowl party?
That was his announcement.
He's annoying, I swear.
Which had Cowboy fans on edge because his brother lives out in Colleyville. He's in Texas a lot. I actually bumped into him at the airport a few years back.
He works out at the same CrossFit gym that I work out at. So
it's perfect. It's perfect. And so I think he might have been throwing a hint that next season, all cards, cards will be on the table, especially if he gets the option to choose where he wants to go. I believe Dallas is somewhere he would want to be. And oh man, Dak Prescott and Big Rob Gronkowski. Oh man, that's basically all that is at the moment missing. Not even missing. I really want to see Blake Jarwin, them use Blake Jarwin more. Man, he gets the ball in his hands and he's gone. Like he's gonna make the first guy miss, and he's gonna get you at least 20 yards. So I'm just like, man, if he can get the snaps that Jason Witten gets, I would really like to see where Blake Jarwin can go.
Yeah, I felt like when I did see Blake Jarwin in the game, it was like it's almost like watching a snail try and run when you watch Jason Witten, and then as soon as Blake Jarwin comes in, you're like, oh, there's the rabbit. You're
Yes,
the speed, like the speed that he has jumps off of the screen, not because he's just necessarily that fast, but more because you're not watching someone as slow as Witten. Witten's as big as a house, but
man.
he's very slow.
Yeah.
But he's old, man. So
He's
whatever.
hey, he's here. He's here because he has faith that the Cowboys can get to the Super Bowl. And so I'm all for it. Hey, I was okay with it. I'm okay with the leadership that was added to the locker room, but I just want to see more Blake Jarwin. Like, give me more Jarwin, please.
Yeah, so okay, well, yeah, so that game ends 35-27, Cowboys with the win. That defense seemed to kind of let what's the quarterback's name again?
Jeff Driscoll.
Jeff Driscoll. He let Jeff Driscoll and I know a lot of people are probably saying, "What is a Jeff Driscoll?" I don't know, dude. I don't know what it is either, but he goes in there, throws the ball over the yard, and at least makes it competitive. Which
Yep.
is, if you're just a in general football fan, that's all you wanted to see. But Dak threw for 444, and Michael Gallup had 9 catches for 148 yards. So I mean, Dak threw 3 touchdowns. So I mean, what more could you ask for? He's definitely in. He was in the MVP conversation and then didn't play so well and knocked himself out of it. But now he's played well again and put himself back into it. In my opinion, the MVP conversation goes Russell Wilson, Lamar
Yes.
Jackson, and Dak Prescott right
Yes.
now.
Yes.
You could throw in Christian McCaffrey in there, but a running back has to have an all-time year to win an MVP nowadays. It's McCaffrey's not going to win because the overall success of the team, like the Panthers are sitting at a wild card and they're really on the outside looking in. They're not in a good situation right now. But anyway, so yeah, that game ends 35-27. The Thursday night football game that everyone was talking about was Browns 21, Steelers 7. Everyone saw Myles Garrett swing the helmet and all that stuff. I don't really want to spend a lot of time on it just because it's been just beat dead for so long.
Yeah.
And just know that if you want to know why the Steelers lost the game, because Mason Rudolph threw 4 interceptions. That's all
Plain
you
and
really need
simple.
to know. That's how you lost the game.
I had a lot of faith in Mason Rudolph that he wouldn't go turn the ball over against the Browns. And the Browns gave him opportunities to go win the game. You would think if a quarterback gives you 4 interceptions, you think you would blow them out the water. You think your offense would be pedal to the metal, and they weren't. And so, yeah, Mason Rudolph had a bad game. I had chose the Steelers to win that game, I believe. And I just wasn't. And Juju Smith got knocked out the game. Man, they had a lot of players get hurt. James Conner got hurt, which I had him on my fantasy team, and it's not looking too good for the Steelers, who are really riding high, going into that game. 3 straight wins, I believe, or
Yeah.
4? 3 straight wins, and the injury bug decided to show its ugly head, and it just doesn't help when your quarterback throws 4 interceptions, though. No.
Yeah, so we move on. Neither of those teams are making the playoffs, but one's at 5-5 and one's at 4-6. So then we move on to the next game, which is the Colts taking on the Jaguars. Colts 33, Jaguars 13. Nick Foles doesn't really have that bad of a game. 33 for 47, 296 yards, 2 touchdowns. DJ Chark catches 8 passes for 104 yards and 2 touchdowns. And so, Brissett throws for 1 touchdown and he runs for another, and the Colts win easily there. And so they handle business, and they take care of them. So Colts win that one pretty easily. Let's see here. The Bills 37, Dolphins 20. They handle business there. Josh Allen throws for 3 touchdown passes. Ryan Fitzpatrick throws for 323, but no touchdowns.
Yep.
Let's see. John Brown had 9 catches for 137 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Really impressive day.
Yeah, very good. I was I'll say I was nervous from just like a football fan's perspective, because the Dolphins I know they had lost 7 straight, but then they won 2 in a row, and I was like,
Yeah.
uh-oh, a streak's a streak, no matter what
No
way you
matter
look
what,
at it.
yeah, no matter
Yeah.
who's again, it's a streak.
Yeah,
But
and so
no, I'm liking what I'm seeing out of Josh Allen once again. The guy's not turning the ball over. He's not throwing interceptions, which is very un-Josh Allen like. So it's basically it comes down to, hey, is he the best quarterback in the AFC East at the moment? Not gonna lie. He's the kid's a baller. I give him that. Man, when his arm isn't working, he's gonna run the ball. Like he
Yeah.
knows how to play the game of football. I would take him on my team at, like, if we were playing a pickup game and Josh Allen was out there, I would pick him on the team. I'd be like, yo, come on, because the guy's gonna ball hard for the team. I'm really impressed from the Bills. Let's see if they can keep playing smart down the road. I know they got my Cowboys on the schedule for Thanksgiving, so and we're known to let mobile quarterbacks, get a good game going. So I like what I see out of the Bills. I'm loving it.
Right. So then we move on, and I turned this game on, and it was 17-0. The Broncos had a 17-0 lead over the Minnesota Vikings. And of course, they find a way to blow it, and they lose to the Vikings 27-23. This game was just absolutely crazy. Kirk Cousins throws for 319 and 3 touchdowns. Diggs has 5 catches for 121 yards and a touchdown. And like I said, the Vikings overcome a 20-0 deficit. It was 20-0 at halftime, and they came back and they won. So that tells you pretty much everything you need to know. And that game was wild. So
yes, it shows that I don't necessarily trust Kirk Cousins. And it was basically everyone's like, oh man, how could they play so bad against the Broncos and play so good against the Cowboys? Because every team who plays the Cowboys brings their A game. If you want to see, like, that's why they put the Cowboys in primetime games, because every team that shows up is going to play hard. They're going to play the Cowboys tough. And then we got to see the worst case scenario for the Vikings, them not show up at all and fall down 20-0 to the Broncos. So yeah, but Cortland Sutton is, they got the Broncos have something. They got something there. Now it's up to them to improve on that and definitely go find their quarterback for the future. I appreciate everything Brandon Allen's doing, trying to keep the team above water. He's basically a backup quarterback. It's plain as day, because actual starting quarterback goes and like closes that game out and doesn't even make it a game. But no, yeah, the Broncos got some tools, and let's see who they go pick up in free agency or the draft.
Yeah, so Broncos drop that one to the Vikings, and then we roll on to Tampa Bay, where the Saints beat the Bucks 34-17. Jameis Winston throws for 313 and 2 touchdowns. Alvin Kamara gets 13 carries for 75 yards. And Michael Thomas, the league's best receiver at this point, is 8 catches for 114 yards and a touchdown. I just don't really think that if we're going to get into the comparison and saying who's this and who's that, Michael Thomas is, I think, right now.
His stats speak for themselves. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing that his stats were able to keep up at the level that they've been up when Drew Brees was out for what, 5 weeks or
Yeah,
however long it was.
he's still registering 8 catches. Like with Teddy Bridgewater, he's getting 8 catches, and with Drew Brees, he's getting 8 to 9 catches. So it shows that it's him. He's that good.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a man. He takes care of business every week, and that's the thing, man. If you're a receiver and you can just consistently get open, even the bad quarterbacks are going to find you.
Yep.
Like if you're making, even for a bad quarterback, not that Teddy Bridgewater is, I'm just saying is from like a backup perspective that even a bad quarterback can find you from time to time, and so he just proved his worth. But yeah, so the Saints take care of that one, and then the Jets travel into DC and they handle the Redskins 34-17. Sam Darnold throws 4 touchdown passes, throws for 293. Le'Veon Bell 18 carries, 59 yards and a touchdown. And that was just a relatively easy win for the Jets. It just really wasn't much of a game.
Burn the Redskins organization down to the ground, please.
Yeah, it was awful. I mean, really, the whole game, the Redskins, they only scored like a field goal in the second quarter, and then they didn't. They scored 2 touchdowns late in garbage time when it didn't
Yep.
matter, and so that game should have looked like even more lopsided than it was. But I just want to say this about when we talk about the East, the best quarterback in the East between Brady, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, and who's the other one? Who else is in the East? The Dolphins.
Fitzpatrick. Yeah,
Fitzpatrick. A lot of people are probably going to give Sam Darnold the nod for best in the East from this point on in the season because the Jets have a very favorable schedule the rest of the way.
Yep.
And so just kind of keep that in mind and remember that because you got to remember where he's at now and where the Bills are at. The Bills still have to play a few teams. So then we move on to Carolina. The Falcons go into Carolina and they take care of the Panthers 29-3. The Falcons just continue. It's like, man, they came off of their bye week and they're like a totally different team. Just completely crazy. The big story from this game was that Kyle Allen, who has been pretty good most of the season,
Yep.
he went 31 for 50, 325 yards and 4 interceptions. That's a big deal from a guy who was, kind of carrying that team most of the season. McCaffrey goes for 70 yards. Calvin Ridley goes for 143 and a touchdown. So, they're taking care of business there. Like I said, Falcons beat the Panthers 29-3.
Here come the Falcons, baby.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to lie. I played out the scenario in my mind. What if they go 9-7? What if they go 9-7? I don't know. I wouldn't know what to do with myself if like the Falcons are like, all right, yeah, we blew a Super Bowl 24-3 a few years back. Now watch us go 1-7 and then win 8 straight games. So
here's the thing, dude. If the Falcons go 9-7, you know what that gets them? A seat on the couch still.
Yeah, because they're still not making the playoffs.
Yeah, you're in the NFC. If I mean, you're talking, you got Seattle and Green Bay and New Orleans all at 8-2, 8-3, or whatever. We're 8-2, but I don't know what other teams are exactly right now. But like, you've got 3 teams that are up there. San Francisco 9-1. So so San Francisco and Seattle, same division. Green Bay is pretty much running away with the division by themselves outside of Minnesota trying to kind of hang around or whatever. But, you've got some really elite NFC teams. Not everyone is going to win their division. So that's going to put at least 1 or 2 of those teams that I just mentioned in the wild card situation. And so if 9-7, just like I'm saying, just flat out,
it's not going to. Yeah,
if you think you're going to win 9-7, Seattle's at 8-2 right now.
Like that's
So
5 straight games. You would have to hope that Seattle loses or something.
right, then that's just not realistic. That
Yeah.
has yeah. If you lose 5 straight games, you're in trouble. So
Oh yeah.
anyway, so Ravens and Texans. Ravens beat the Texans 41-7. And this is what I was talking about earlier. Lamar Jackson, 222 yards, 4 touchdowns. Gus Edwards for Baltimore, 8 carries, 112 yards and a touchdown. DeAndre Hopkins, 7 catches for 80 yards. I'll just say this. All this Lamar Jackson stuff, he's the man. Like, I totally get it, but
He's that guy.
his name was elevated this week because Russell Wilson was not playing.
Yeah.
I just think that there was no spotlight that he had to share like he has had to do in previous weeks, but we'll see. I mean, I will say this: the Ravens' resume, as far as teams that they've beat, has been
impressive.
Pretty nice. They beat us. They beat Seattle. They beat New England. And they still have to play San Francisco this season. You know, they've got some. Yeah, so they've.
Yes.
I mean, if San Francisco, if Lamar Jackson runs all over San Francisco, I'll honestly be very shocked because San Francisco is definitely a beatable team, but to be beat in a way where Lamar Jackson can just come out and run, run all these run plays that he's been running this season against supposedly the NFC's best defense. If that happens, I'll be I'll be shocked. I will tell you that. Joseph here says that Lamar Jackson could be the next Michael Vick. Actually, Joseph,
I think he's better. He's better.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. That's where you're wrong, Joseph. He's better than Michael Vick already. I don't think his arm talent is quite there.
Oh my gosh.
But that's also kind of like a common misconception with him because his arm talent hasn't been there because he really hasn't had to use it.
He doesn't have to throw deep. He doesn't have to.
And he doesn't have anyone. He has Hollywood Brown, Antonio Brown's cousin, who's been hurt a pretty significant amount of time this season. And
but when he does play, he throws it deep to him. It's
right.
Awesome.
And he has Mark Andrews, the tight end there, and he's been pretty good. Other than that, he has Willie Snead Jr., who is so hot and cold, it's ridiculous. He caught a pass on Sunday, and I was at my buddy's house, and I said, "Oh, hey, would you look at that? Willie Snead Jr. still in the league. I had no
idea." He has games where he'll catch 5 to 6 passes for a touchdown, and then he'll go like 4 straight weeks with just basically catching 1 to 2 passes here and there, and then he'll have another good game. And so Willie Snead's weird. Fantasy football wise, he's weird, but I like him for the Ravens. Like I like what he brings for the Ravens, but I just can't. I keep thinking like, man, the Ravens still can build on their receiving core. Like they got their tight ends. They don't have to go find another tight end. Their tight end group is A+. With Mark Andrews and Nick Boyle and Hayden Hurst, which I wanted my Cowboys to take one of those guys, Mark Andrews or Hayden Hurst. And it shows how good the Ravens are at drafting tight ends and their players. Man, I just keep thinking like Lamar Jackson wouldn't have been thrust more higher into the MVP race if the Texans just show up on offense. If Deshaun Watson just does something, makes this game look somewhat close, who knows, I don't think Lamar Jackson gets as much hype as he's got, but he does, shout out to that Ravens defense. I mean, the Ravens that's a dangerous team right there. That's dangerous, and I can't wait to see what the playoffs bring for them.
Right. So the funny thing is, I think we mentioned this last week. There are few teams in the AFC. The AFC is, in comparison to the East of the NBA, there are 2 or 3 teams at the top that run the show. Everyone else is trash. In the NFL, with the AFC, you have probably Baltimore or Kansas City as the 1 and 2 seeds, and then, I don't know. We'll see what New England's going to do, but those are the 3 teams: Baltimore, Kansas City, New England. Those are the 3 teams. I'll tell you right now that Baltimore looks good, and until someone can like actually slow them down, we'll see. Because,
Yep.
like I said, the Ravens came to Seattle and they beat the Seahawks, and I'll tell you, outside of our offense just not really playing that great, I was kind of mad because we were losing and we lost, but not all that mad because I was like, dude, we're throwing everything we can at Lamar Jackson. We just
He's
him.
I don't, man, I can't wait to see what team stops him. Like, what team can stop that run game? Because if you got Gus Edwards getting 9 carries for 100 yards, you're in trouble because he's the backup running back. You're in trouble if Gus Edwards is running crazy on you. So, uh, man, Lamar is. I'm like lost for words when I watch him play. He's that good, and he's only going to get better. His passing has gotten way better than last season, and his running looks a lot smoother as well than like he's running with purpose. He's running for yards, and he's not getting hit, which is the main thing. He's not getting hit at all. So, this is gonna
Yeah,
be good. This is gonna be good.
yeah. He's just in a situation where the offensive coordinator mixed with the head coach are really doing him a favor and setting him up right in right formations, protecting him, having creative play calls, creative formations, and just creative looks that gives him the ability, to run that read option pass type stuff or
Yep.
whatever it is. And so he's just in a good situation right now. And I think that was probably just a really good place for him to get drafted because Baltimore has needed a quarterback for the longest. So it's good that they have him. But let's go ahead and move on. Next we have the 49ers have to come back on the Arizona Cardinals.
Woo!
I don't know if you watched that game, but I watched the
Yes.
game, and Arizona had a lead for most of the game. And I think when I first turned on, I was like, wow, Arizona's up 10-0 on the 49ers, but eventually Garoppolo kind of gets it in gear and figures it out. He throws for 424 and 4 touchdowns. Kyler Murray was actually the leading rusher from this game. He had 67 yards by himself and a touchdown. The big story of the day, though, was Deebo Samuel had 134 yards on 8 catches. And so San Francisco's 9-1. I know who is responsible for that one, but we'll talk about that.
Take pride in it, baby. Take pride in it. Yes. I wasn't shocked that the Cardinals were up because, like I said, they're one of the better 3-win teams in the NFL that I love to watch them play because, Kyler Murray is that good. And once again, Kyler Murray's only going to get better. But they have to find a running back. David Johnson isn't that, which is, you would think David Johnson had like knee injuries or pulled groins or quad. No, he hurt his wrist that put him out for a season last year. He's back and he's not. Now the Cardinals' offensive line could just be that bad. But if Kyler Murray is your leading rusher as well, that's not good. And basically, if you can't run the ball when you got a lead, you're going to lose that lead, the same as the Broncos losing their lead to the Vikings because they couldn't run the ball. You have to have some kind of a run game in the sport of football because if you're up, you just can't keep passing the ball. It's all about clock management, time of possession. Shout out to Jimmy G for making me eat my words. If he's a franchise quarterback, if you come out and put the team on your back against a solid defense, you come back from behind, major kudos out to Jimmy G.
Yeah. I'll never give him kudos for anything because he's a rival. That's like you giving Carson Wentz kudos. Ain't going to happen. Okay.
You're right.
So next, Raiders beat the Bengals 17-10. This game was pretty boring. Yeah, this game was pretty boring, to be honest. Josh Jacobs had 112 yards. Let's see. Tyrell Williams had 4 catches for 82 yards. Pretty boring game. I think the Raiders just kind of got up and they were like, whatever, and they just did grounded pound for a while. So
Yeah, yeah.
they took care of business,
I
and
thought
then
I thought they would blow out the Bengals. I was wrong, really wrong. Um, but I want to take a. I just want to put this out there for the Raider fans out there in the world. Uh, the Raiders rookie class is first in rushing yards, first in receptions. I don't know if y'all. There we go. First in receptions, first in scrimmage yards, first in scrimmage touchdowns, and first in sacks. So Mike Mayock and John Gruden might have done something.
well,
I know,
that's because they traded Khalil Mack away and got the farm back, so they were like,
man. And people were like, "What are you doing? Why would you trade away Khalil Mack? You don't do that." But it shows that it's working, and the Bears aren't. The Bears are the Bears, and maybe John Gruden might have been onto something. He might have been collecting intel, sitting back watching. He was an analyst, so he got to watch from a whole different perspective rather than just a head coach. And so, man, this might be this draft class for the Raiders will play a very critical part in their future success.
okay, do you know what time it is now?
What time is it?
It's time to have a moment of silence for the death. The death. The death of the 2019 Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh man.
They have died. They died. It's sad to see him go, but at this point, it is what it is.
Oh my gosh.
They dropped to the Patriots 17-10. I just don't know what I could say about Carson Wentz other than I unfortunately had to play him in fantasy last week because
I'm so sorry.
Russell the Muscle was on a bye, but so you would not be surprised to hear that he let me down.
He's been letting people down all season.
Exactly. So I'll just say this. They aren't good. Nope. One of their wins is against Green Bay, and that is just beyond shocking to me. It is what it is. There's nothing impressive about the Eagles. I would say some of their offensive linemen are impressive and some of their defensive linemen are impressive. But other than that, I'm not if I'm a team that has to play Philly, I feel like they have the nucleus and they have the talent to win games, but for whatever reason, dude, I'm telling you, the combination of Alshon Jeffrey and Nelson Aguilar and those guys, when they need a catch most, that is when those guys drop it most. I was just like, I was sitting there this last week. I'm like, dude, I'm stressed out. I'm not even a Philly fan, and I'm stressed out watching these dudes. And
they are. Oh, go ahead.
They're just a headache to watch, dude. One of my good friends is an Eagles fan, and he's just like, he's to the point now where it's like the middle of the third quarter, and he's like, I'm done. I don't even want to watch him anymore. They're stressing me out. They're raising my blood pressure. I'm gonna have a heart attack because I'm watching this dumb team, and he just gets so mad watching them, and it's really kind of funny. But they're just I don't know how to explain them, dude. They're irritating to watch because they could be better, but for whatever reason they're just playing like crap, and you just don't know why.
I'm gonna blame Howie Roseman. I'm blaming him. This is all his fault because he decided to go after an old Deshaun Jackson, which I told Eagle fans that's not gonna work out the way you think it's gonna work out. He's up there in age. He's not young Deshaun Jackson anymore. Yeah, he can fly, but I was like, how many games will he be available for you? One game is what they got out of Deshaun Jackson. Well, 2 games is what they got out of Deshaun Jackson. I was like, Alshon Jeffrey's getting pretty old. You should draft another receiver. No, they didn't take a receiver as high as they should have. They didn't take the very best receiver that they could have taken. They take a guy out of Stanford, Arcega Whiteside, which I am a fan of his. I watched him at Stanford, but he's not ready. He's not ready to be a number one. They could have made a trade for Robbie Anderson from the Jets, before the bye week. Just giving up a second round pick is all you had to give up for Robbie Anderson, who can fly, flat out fly. Yet you don't pull the trigger on that. I mean, there's not many second round receivers you're going to get next year, or really picks. Well, yeah, that are going to be as good as Robbie Anderson could be for your team. So I'm going to blame the GM here. I'm not going to put everything on Carson Wentz, but dude's terrible in the fourth quarter. He's not. People kept telling me, oh, he's going to elevate the team. And once again, this is the same team from the Super Bowl. Same team that won the same roster that won a Super Bowl. This is that team.
I wouldn't go as far to say it's the same roster. It's the same nucleus,
same nucleus.
It's not the same. It's not the same. And here's the thing: when you win a Super Bowl, a lot of things have to go right.
Yes,
the health of your team has to be pretty good for you to win a Super Bowl.
Yep.
And then on top of that, you have to have guys who are absolutely outplaying their contract. And I don't know about you, Cam, but if you look around the league and you look at quarterbacks who have received contracts just in the last 5 years,
it's not good.
and you look at a guy like Russell Wilson, or you look at Jared Goff, Carson Wentz, Matt Stafford, just guys that have been signed in the last few years, who's really getting their money's worth out of the contract?
The Seattle Seahawks are for sure.
I mean, yeah. So that's the only team.
I don't want y'all to think I'm being a homer, but like being kissing up to Flex Mike. But Russell Wilson was worth every single dime, people. Every single dime.
Here's the thing: if you become the highest paid player in the NFL, I expect I expect your stats to reflect that. So this year, Russell Wilson is number one in pretty much everything except for QBR.
That's my guy.
Yeah, Dak has that. Yeah, but he's number one in touchdown passes. He has the least interceptions in the league, more than any other, or less than any other quarterback. And so just uber efficient, playing really well. And so you expect a guy who makes that type of money, and you can really say that for any position. Like Zeke's making $90 million, highest paid running back, right?
Yep.
He's not living up to it right now. He's not playing. Maybe there's some other things that just aren't, the offense are changing or whatever it may be, but you expect some guys, maybe not, he doesn't have to be the number one best, but you want him to be in the top five, whoever it is, to prove that the money that you invested has been worth it.
At the moment, Zeke's like 8th in rushing, with 2. I've never seen him put back-to-back games, bad games, and so for the first time he did it. But let's see if it's because people are stacking the box. I don't believe so. I've said it. A lot of teams aren't stacking the box. Like Dak has the highest completion percentage when there's 2 high safeties, like down the field. So which means if there's 2 high safeties, there's no safety in the box. There's no extra people in the box to stop Zeke. And so that's it could possibly be the O-line getting old, but you're right. If you're going to pay a guy, you want results for your money. Like Michael Thomas got paid, and Michael Thomas is still showing up and showing out for the Saints.
Yeah, he's number one. He's the number one as far as all major wide receiver stats go. He's number one.
And so there was a report a year ago when the Rams went to the Super Bowl, and it was like, the report was basically saying Sean McVay doesn't think Jared Goff is his guy, and would they sign Jared Goff to an extension? And I flat out said no, they shouldn't. They should go in the draft, find another quarterback, rebuild again, because you got if what's the head coach for the Rams? I forgot his name.
Sean McVay.
Sean McVay. If he's as good as as we thought he is, basically just improve your quarterback or find a quarterback in free agency. Jared Goff wasn't that guy, and they chose to give him a contract. So they've overpaid for Todd Gurley and they've overpaid for Jared Goff, which causes my Cowboys to have to wait and overpay for our guys. Not saying that
Yeah.
Dak doesn't deserve to get paid, but basically I was saying last year, yo, sign him now because he's gonna get better. And now now you're paying the price for that. Same with the Eagles. They didn't have to pay Carson Wentz. I don't think you had a chance to, sign Nick Foles to a 1-year deal. Carson Wentz was still on his rookie deal. You had a chance to kind of, play with that option a little bit more. And now instead you're in a hole now. You're not impressed with Carson Wentz. He's not elevating your team the way ESPN hypes him up, oh, he's going to elevate your team. He's an elevator, and nah, it's not working out. And so, man, oh man, it's these next few contracts coming down the road are going to be interesting. Dak's contract's coming. Patrick Mahomes' contract is coming. Amari Cooper's contract is coming. In which he's been playing banged up, and I want to see if he'll show up if once he gets paid. But it's man, you that's what you want. You want the bang for your buck, plain and simple. That's what you want.
So I'll agree with you with what you said about Sean McVay and the whole Jared Goff situation. Like maybe Sean McVay thought that, oh, Jared Goff's not my guy and I don't want to pay him the contract. But then I think he looks at the rest of his roster and he says, "Man, we're in our Super Bowl window right
Yep.
now.
Yep.
Like we should pay him now, give him like a 5-year thing." And any head coach feels like when they even have at least a playoff roster, they feel like they're in their Super Bowl window. So maybe he says, "Okay, well, we're going to be in our Super Bowl window for a little bit, so at least for the next 3 years, and then maybe the back 2 years we can get Jared Goff to restructure or whatever."
Yep.
And so I think he just looked at his roster and said, "I'm in my Super Bowl window now, so we need to pay him to lock down because the more talent you have around Goff, the better he's going to look."
Yeah.
So when guys are hurt and guys are missing and or they're
It's
not
not good.
performing well, it's not going to look good for them.
But Brandon Cooks is back this week, so let's see if that helps.
Probably not because he was non-existent before that. But okay, let's run through these last two games. Rams beat the Bears 17-7. Trubisky gets benched in this one, probably
Yes.
because he's hot garbage. That's probably why he got benched.
Well, no, they're saying it's a hip injury. That's what they're saying.
I
I don't
literally
believe
don't
it.
care. I
You
literally do
you
not care what they're saying. That is not true.
I'm just like, you waited all the way until the game's on the line. You have a chance to win this game. All right, I'm gonna bench him now and put in Chase Daniels. Put in Chase Daniels at halftime or something like that, or start Chase Daniels at the beginning of the game. Like, don't. I'm not. I don't want to make it sound like I'm sympathetic for Mitchell Trubisky. That's a bad situation to be in where you're benched, fourth quarter before the drive to like go win the game. It'll definitely mess with his psyche. That's just been a bad way they've handled that situation. But he's not good, so I'm sorry.
Yeah. He's not good. So they lose that game. And then the final game of the week was on Monday Night Football. The Chiefs beat the Chargers 24-17. Philip Rivers is awful. He threw 4 interceptions. The Chargers fall to 4-7. He just needs to. I don't know, dude. He needs to go somewhere. It's time for him. It's time for him to sit down because, that was frustrating. If you're a Chargers fan, that was a frustrating game to watch.
I'm sorry, Chargers fans.
So teams on a bye this past week were the Packers, the Titans, the Giants, and the Seahawks. So those teams didn't play. Okay, but what do you say we move into our Week 12 predictions?
Let's get it. Let's fly through this. I know people are excited about this. Definitely.
Yeah. So okay, let's see. First game up. I'm trying to get my page here to load. We got a couple of good matchups this week. There's not too many games that I would consider boring this week, but let's start Thursday night football. We got the Colts at the Texans. Houston is favored by 3.5 points, and the over/under is 45.5. Who do you got?
I got the Colts. Every time I ride with the Colts, they give me a victory. So let's go with all reliable. Jacoby Brissett will find a way, I believe, to stay in that game. Hopefully he makes a step in getting, passing the ball more down the field. T.Y. Hilton's back. And so that is really, honestly, the main reason why I'm taking the Colts. They also had their third string running back go for 100 yards last week. So yeah, Colts, baby, Colts.
Yeah, I'm taking the Colts also on this one. I was kind of iffy with the Colts when Brissett's not in there because I think Brian Hoyer's the backup. He's definitely
Yep.
not the answer. So, yeah, I got the Colts in this one too. I think they win by at least 14. So,
Oh,
yeah,
I
I got
got
the
I got
Colts.
I got Colts by 7. My bad.
Okay. Next up we have the Seahawks at the Eagles. Philly is favored by 1.5 points. The they continue to disrespect us, but whatever.
How?
Well,
How do you?
I'll say this because if they consider teams to be even, right, and
Yeah,
they're playing each other, they usually give the home team 3
3 points.
points.
Yeah,
So they really think that we're 1.5 points better than Philly, but
yeah.
they
I,
give them.
I just don't see how you give the Eagles the edge. There's no way I'm choosing the Eagles over the Seahawks at any point.
Yeah, so obviously, I'm gonna take the Seahawks, and my opinions of the Eagles. I just kind of mentioned it earlier. I think they're done.
Oh,
I think they're
you
done.
you know my opinion of the Eagles, baby.
Yeah, I definitely do know that, but
Oh
the,
man,
yeah, the Eagles look dead to me. They lost the to the Patriots. I think they're gonna lose to us. Um, the big deal in this game was or is going to be how effective is Tyler Lockett because he had that leg injury, but Pete Carroll
yes,
in his press conference today said he's expecting him to play, so we should be good there. Other than that, we don't really have as of today. We don't really have any major injuries. I'm looking here. I know Luke Wilson, one of our tight ends, he has a hamstring thing that he's dealing with. But other than that, they got Jadeveon Clowney and Dwayne Brown on the injury report, but they're both supposed to play. And
yeah,
then the big deal today was that the Seahawks activated tight end Ed Dixon,
yeah,
and we waived our slot corner Jamar Taylor. And I think that was just with the emergence of some of the DBs from last week, from our last Monday night game. So we'll see.
I haven't heard from Big Ed in a while, man.
Well, he played with us last season, and he was pretty good last season as well. Um, but we activated him late in the season, like we did this year. I think that's just partially because of his age. They want to get as much as they can out of him
Yep,
before he calls it quits. He's
yep,
been in the league quite a while. I remember watching him at Oregon.
man.
Yeah, he's been in the league
I
quite a
think he was
while,
on.
but
I think he was on that Super Bowl team for the Ravens, right?
yeah, he was.
Yeah, yeah. He's okay. Yeah, he's pretty old. Then he's pretty
Yeah,
old. But
OG.
I need Hollister to go off for me again. All
I
right.
think he will. He's developed kind of a Russell Wilson has kind of targeted him a little bit more, and he seems to
So
favor him a little bit.
yeah,
So
I picked him up 3 weeks ago, and I sat him. I sat him for 2 weeks to see how to go, and I need him this week. Please, man, if you can call him up for me or anything, let me know. Let him know I need a big game.
right. Okay, so we both went Seattle on that one. How much?
Yes.
How much do you think Seattle's going to win by?
Seattle by 10.
Oh, okay.
But please be more. Please be more.
Well, I don't know about that because I don't think we've actually taken care of business against any team this year. Every game's been close. But anyway, next game we go Buccaneers at the Falcons. Atlanta's favored by 4.5, and the over under is 51.5. Who do you got in this one?
I got the Falcons, baby. Them dirty birds. You gonna I'm going with the Falcons. I think they're gonna try to find a way People are calling for Matt Ryan's job. I don't know if you've seen those, but a lot of people are like, "Yo, we need Matt Ryan out of here." Which I don't think Matt Ryan's a problem. I
He's
love
definitely
Matty.
not.
I love Matty Ice. I don't think he's a problem. But no, the pressure's on. So I think Matt Ryan's going to put up another 300-yard game. He's going to tell people, "Yo, put some respect on my name. All right, I'm not the issue here. I'm not the problem." Offense really hasn't been a problem for them. So yeah, I got the Falcons over the Buccaneers by, let's see, 3, 6, 9, about 12. I'm gonna say 12. I know it's
Ooh.
weird, but 12. Let's go with that.
Okay, this guy here, Interzone says Seahawks will win the West. Yeah, everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. Anyway, yeah, so I got Atlanta as well. I'm just gonna take them by 7. I'm not gonna take them by I'm slowly building my trust with them because they were pretty bad the first half of the season, but they've won 2 straight now coming off their bye week. So I'll
Against
take
a very
them.
beatable team.
Yeah, so I know it's a very beatable team, but they in games that they have lost, they've managed to kind of explode offensively. So
Yep.
there's that still. Next game we're gonna go Denver Broncos at Buffalo. Buffalo's favored by 4. The over under is 38. In this one, I'm gonna take Buffalo.
Well, you're a smart man because I'm taking Buffalo as well. I like the points. I'm gonna say Buffalo by. Oh, excuse me. I'm gonna say Buffalo by 4, like 24-20. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And then let's move on. We got the Giants at the Chicago Bears. Chicago's favored by 6. Over under is 40.5. Who do you got in this one?
Oh, this is a trap game, man, because Chase Daniels is gonna play, and so, oh my gosh, this is tough. This is really tough because a Chase Daniels led Bears team doesn't scare me, and I know the Giants are looking like, man, we could get back on, we can get on track. This is a possible. Oh, this is a trap game, and I know I got a feeling who I think you're gonna take, so I'm gonna take the Giants here by 3.
Giants by 3. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I
Um,
don't. I don't trust the Bears at all. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't pick the Bears to win any game. So I don't even know if I've picked them one time this season. But yeah, I'm taking the Giants also. I'm expecting this game to kind of be one of those big stat games from Daniel Jones again, maybe a 4 touchdown game or something like that.
He's gonna
Um,
he's gonna have to let it fly. Like he's gonna have to throw it as often as he can.
right. So I got the Giants in this one. I'll say by 10.
Oh wow.
Um,
Okay.
Yeah. Next, we have the Steelers at the Bengals. Pittsburgh's favored by 6.5. The over/under is 39.5. In this one, I'm going to take Pittsburgh. Um, I am not confident in that, but it's Pittsburgh's favored by 6.5, but yeah, I don't feel very good about it, but I'll still take them just because Mason Rudolph came off that crazy week last week where he threw 4 picks and just really wasn't good the whole game. But they don't really have another option,
Nah.
so yeah, for right now, and I guess once I write it down, it's kind of inked in there. But yeah, I got Pittsburgh in this one.
Oh man, something's screaming at me to take Cincinnati. Something's
Oh,
like, yeah,
0-10 Cincinnati.
something's like, yo, these. I mean, every 0 for team is due for a win. I would hope they don't go 0-16. But I'm gonna take the Steelers as well. Dad, I hope you love me. I'm gonna take your Steelers, even though I took them last week against the Browns and they didn't show up. All right, they didn't show up. But I'm gonna take them this week because I think the Bengals are really tanking for a quarterback, which is funny because they got Ryan Finley on their team, which is a quarterback they just drafted. So it's a really weird situation going on in Cincinnati. I don't know if they know what they're. I don't even think they know what they're going to do. So I'm going to take the Steelers here, and I think they win this game by 14.
Okay. At some point, we're gonna have to differ on a pick to decide a winner for Week
Oh,
12.
oh, it's coming. Trust me, it's
Yeah,
coming.
it might be this next one here. So the next game we have here is the Dolphins at the Browns. Cleveland is favored by 10.5 points, and the over under is 44.5. I'll go first on this one. I got Miami Dolphins all day.
No way.
I think they're gonna cover and they're gonna beat Cleveland.
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, we're gonna do. I'm going with the Browns. I truly think the Browns believe they can make the playoffs, and so I'll definitely lean into you know taking a Browns squad over the Dolphins. But look here, if the Dolphins win, I'll be happy. Okay, I'll be happy. I'll be okay with the Dolphins getting a victory here. But yeah, I got the Browns here, and I think they'll win this game by 7.
Okay. Let's see. Next we go to Carolina Panthers at the Saints. This one's interesting because the Saints are sitting at 8-2. Like I said earlier, the Panthers are on the outside looking in on the wild card situation because they're 5-5. I would like to see the Saints lose for the sake of like the NFC playoff picture, but I also want the Panthers to lose just so that they can like actually be eliminated from any playoff hopes. But my gut tells me that there's no way that the Panthers are going to win. The line is New Orleans by 10. The over under is 47. Who do you got in this one?
I'm gonna go with the Saints. Man, that the Panthers are gonna have a quarterback controversy here. I'm telling you that right now. If Kyle Allen comes out and has another 4 interception day, or even 2 bad interceptions against the Saints, then Cam Newton's gonna be looking like, I might stay, I might, but I got the Saints here, and I got them winning by. I think they're gonna win by 3, though. I got the Saints by 3.
Okay, I'm gonna take the Saints, but I'm gonna take them by 10. I'm gonna write down a couple of our point spreads in a few games because
Okay.
if we end up tying, this will be the deciding factor.
Oh, awesome! I like it.
So okay, I'm obviously gonna take New Orleans in that one too, and it's just I don't know.
Yeah.
They're on a different level right now. This next game is actually pretty intriguing. You got the Oakland Raiders at the New York Jets. Oakland favored by 2.5, over under 46. This one is difficult, but I think I'm gonna go Jets on this one.
Wow.
I think that they have the defense that could slow down some of the run game, which would in turn make the passing game a little more difficult for the Raiders. Wouldn't surprise me if I was completely wrong on this one, but I'm just trying to separate myself from you on this list so that we know who was right, who was wrong, all that good stuff. But I'm gonna take the Jets in this one.
You just messed up, man, because I don't know if you realize this, but for like the past 3 weeks, I've chosen the Oakland Raiders, and they have not let me down because I'm a Gruden grinder, baby. They're Gruden grinders. I'm taking the Oakland Raiders to beat the New York Jets by 10 points.
Beat the New York Jets. Okay, let's see here. Next is Lions at Redskins. Detroit is favored by 3.5, over under 41.5. This is the no-brainer pick of the week. I think the Lions win this one and they win it easy.
How many points you got the Lions winning by?
10.
10. I got the Lions about 14. I need Jeff Driscoll to have a great day. I got him on my fantasy team, picked him up just because he's playing Washington. So I believe Marvin Jones and Kenny Galladay can abuse the Washington Redskins DBs. I think they'll be able to run the ball efficiently. Basically just take the same formula you had against the Cowboys offensively wise and go apply it to the Redskins, plain and simple. Run the ball, make plays, and you'll be all right. I don't know if you've seen the video of not Kyler, but Dwayne Haskins literally begging his offensive line, asking them, "What do you want me to do so you can protect me better?" And they're laughing at him. It's really bad in the DC area. I feel so sorry for Dwayne Haskins being drafted um, in that situation. He deserves a lot better than that organization. But nah, I got the Lions winning this game by 14, and it won't be close.
Yeah. So next game we got the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee is favored by 3 points. Over under 41.5. This one is it's almost like a coin flip for me. I think this game's gonna be really close. This is tough. I think I'm gonna take Tennessee in this
Dang
one.
it! Oh man, I'm taking Tennessee as well. I was hoping you're going to take the Jags. Um, the AFC South is weird, man. Like it seems like they're always playing each other. I swear, it seems like the Colts and the Texans are always playing each other. The Jags and the Titans are always like. It seems like every week these guys play each other. But I'm gonna go with Tennessee because I actually like Ryan Tannehill. I like what he brings to the Titans, and let's see if they can keep it going. Let's see. They had that big win against the Chiefs going to the bye week, and now let's see if they can win again against the Jags.
Okay, and then we see, okay, here it is. We got the Dallas Cowboys at the New England Patriots. New England is favored by 6.5 points. Over under is 46. Big story from this game is that you have the Cowboys, who their strength of their team is clearly their offense, and the Patriots' strength of their team is their defense. Um, so you have strength going against strength against the two, and so we're going to see who prevails. All I know is Tom Brady has definitely not been the same. Um,
Nope.
that whole offense has just not been clicking for whatever reason. I told you I didn't think the Cowboys are going to win. I'm just going to stick to it. I think the Patriots win by 4. I know you're probably going to differ with me, but they are in Foxborough.
Oh,
So that's a big deal to me. That's a hard place to play. But yeah,
yeah.
I'm going to take New England in this one.
Oh man, if there's anybody who can beat the Patriots, uh, it's this guy right here. This man right here can go into Foxborough because he has nerves of steel and he can take on that Patriots defense. Now, if I can get the Patriots, that same team from last week that played against the Eagles, then my Cowboys can win this game because you only beat the Eagles by 7. Um,
Yeah.
and you're gonna have to bring it. You're gonna have to bring it against the Cowboys. Hell, the Cowboys could be damn near 0-11, or any like you still have to come with it. You still got to bring it. And so if I get that same Tom Brady, their offense just doesn't scare me. It doesn't wow me. But they're gonna try to run some screenplays. They're gonna try to run up the gut on us with their small backs. But I got my Dallas Cowboys winning this game. Um, 28-24.
28-24. Okay. So you got Dallas. Um, I think I'll take the same score, but I'll take it the other way.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Look, this as a Cowboy fan, really honestly, as just a football person looking into this game, it's a win-win situation for the Cowboys. If you win the game, oh wow, you beat the Patriots, you look good, you look legit. If you go into New England and just make it a ball game, you lose the game, make it a ball game, you just fit the narrative that nobody wins in New England. Like you don't go to, I think they're like 84-4-1. Like you, basically the narrative is you don't go to New England and win often. So it's a win-win situation for my Cowboys. I'll take it. I like it.
right. Okay. So just a couple games left here. Next game is just a heavyweight matchup. You got the Green Bay Packers at the Santa Clara 49ers. San Francisco is favored by 3. Over under is 48. I'm taking Green Bay in this one.
Oh,
Um, Mostly because, well, one, I think Green Bay is actually good. I think San Francisco is good too, but I'm also rooting for San Francisco to lose.
Of
But
course.
that is a if you say the 49ers have two losses on their schedule and they came from Seattle and Green Bay, I mean, as much as a loss is a good loss, those are kind of like the best ones to have because at least you lost to elite competition.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm gonna take Green Bay in this one. Green Bay, Green Bay by 6.
All right. I'm going to take the 49ers here. I don't think the Packers can be able to protect Aaron Rodgers. I think we're going to see that dominant 49ers defensive line show up. And I think they'll sack Aaron Rodgers 3 to 4 times. And I think Jimmy Garoppolo and Debo Samuels abuse the secondary to the Green Bay Packers because I'm not bought in yet. I'm not sold. I got the 49ers winning this game by 6 points.
So I will say this. I'll tell you that I think that the 49ers pass rush and stuff is a little bit overblown. It's an overblown narrative because although when they played Seattle, they did sack Russell Wilson a few times, but the media made it sound
And
like they
scored
were
a touchdown. And scored a touchdown. Just put that in there.
in all fairness, they scored a touchdown because Russell Wilson fumbled into the hands of an offensive lineman who immediately thought that he was a Heisman running back and tried to run with the ball when in reality he should have just gotten the ball and fell straight down.
Oh man.
But yeah, I mean, I would just say that they are definitely good, but I think the media gives them just a little too much hype because they made it sound like the 49ers defensive line was going to live in our backfield, and that definitely wasn't the case. Um, and so I think that if the Packers can weather the storm that is their pass rush, that they'll be just fine. So yeah, so we'll see about that one. And then on Monday Night Football, we have the Baltimore Ravens at the Los Angeles Rams. Baltimore's favored by 3, over under 46. Who do you got in this one?
Oh man, I got the Ravens in this one. No, I want to see the Rams suffer. I love it. I love when the Rams suffer. Um, and I need the Rams on a losing streak when they come into Dallas. So I got the Ravens winning this game. I think Lamar Jackson once again keeps pace with Russell Wilson. I think Russell Wilson will have the better week this week. Um, but I think Lamar Jackson finds a way to take over. Um, got the Ravens winning this game by, I'm going to say 7. Play it safe, 7 points.
Yeah, that's basically what I picked too. I put 7 down for Baltimore. I just the strength of the Rams team right now has been their defense because as their offense has struggled, their defense has kind of carried them to help them get to some of the wins that they do have. Um, and the interesting thing has been how well the defense has been playing. It's been very
Yes.
surprising. But until someone stops Lamar Jackson, I'm just automatically going to assume that no one can stop Lamar Jackson. And
I
so
don't think it's possible.
until someone actually does it, then we'll see. It's interesting for Lamar Jackson. We have to see how he's going to evolve over the next couple of years because we've seen it time and time again. A guy comes out, absolutely shocks the league, and then the league adjusts, and then you have to see how that player adjusts after
Yes.
that.
Yes.
It happened with Dak. It's happened with tons of players. Certain players come out and they shock the league, and they're good that year, and then maybe the next year, maybe 2 years, they struggle, and then they figure out a way for them to adjust and see where they fit in the league and the things that they're good at. So we'll see. I hope that Lamar Jackson is able to rush the way that he's rushing now for many more years to come. And so we'll see if that happens. But
I love it. I'm loving it.
as of right now, he looks awesome. And so, yeah, we both picked Baltimore to win there. So that does it for this week. I just want to remind everyone that the Flex Network, if you want to be entered into our competition to win a autographed Russell Wilson Seahawks mini helmet, an autographed Dallas Cowboys Ezekiel Elliott mini helmet, and a card of Flex Matt's choosing from his personal collection, all you have to do is this. You have to, on our Facebook page, you have to invite 3 people to like our page. And as soon as they do, you then will have to like and share one of our posts on Facebook. And then from there, you'll have to go over to Twitter and you'll have to like and retweet something on Twitter. It's very simple, but
Really simple.
the only clause in that is those 3 people that you invite to like the page, they have to like the page or you do not get entered. And we're keeping track of all of this. So if you do that, you will see if you win or not. The drawing will take place Super Bowl Sunday. We will announce the winner Super Bowl Sunday, probably around halftime or something like that. The Seahawks should be up in the Super Bowl by 50 points at that point. So, um, um, we'll see who gets entered. But just, like I said, invite those people to like the page, and those people can invite other people to like the page as well, and that will enter them into it. So if they want to get entered into it, they can also do it that way. Subscribe to us on all platforms. We're on Twitter. You can find us on Twitter. We are at Flex Network 1 on Twitter. You'll find us there. We have a lot of fantasy football content going on Twitter. Like I said, at Flex Network 1 on Twitter. Fantasy football, NFL, all that stuff is on Twitter. Stay tuned for Thursdays, our Pro Wrestling Review Thursday show. Friday night, we do the Flex Finder podcast, which helps you find your deep flex plays for your games coming up this weekend as we kind of close in and get ready for the fantasy football playoffs. Those things are going to be helpful. If you can get the right flex guys in the right positions at the right times, then you can it could help you dominate your fantasy leagues. So continue to do that. And then of course Sunday morning with Roster Watch, there will be the start sit show. They tell you who to start, who to sit, all that good stuff to help you dominate your fantasy leagues. And then come back around and we're up next Wednesday again after that. So just subscribe to us on all platforms, at Flex Network 1 on Twitter, Flex Network on YouTube, Flex Network Facebook page. You can find us in all those places. We're there. We got it going. And like, share, tag your friends, all that good stuff. But as for me, Flex Mike, you can find me on Twitter at FlexMike11. And Cam, you can find him on Twitter at CowboyCam11. And until next week, we will catch you guys later.